Hello, this is Schizophrenia Matters, and I was asked a question if I thought that my content that I was making was a symptom of my disease of schizophrenia, and my desire to talk about it was a symptom. Um, I really wouldn't want to talk about this at all. I'd really rather not have schizophrenia at all. And I also, really feel like there is a certain benefit of reaching out and communicating to a community, and just in case that there are other people out there that are like me that are struggling, and they can see like, hey, like, hey, this person's at least making content that's coherent, and I can relate with it, because I've been through a lot of crazy stuff too, but here I am, and I think that like what I'm doing is a rebelling against some symptoms by using my other symptoms, right? So I have one symptom that I have that is a carryover. I'm in residual phase schizophrenia right now, so I have carryover symptoms, and one of those is pacing. I spend the majority of my day walking or going, going on walks. If I don't do that, then I will literally pace in my apartment for hours on end. And I won't stop, and it feels, and that's why I started making these videos, is so I could sit down. And I sit down and I make these videos, and I enjoy them, and it's a way that I can talk to a broader audience, while also speaking through myself. It definitely, it helps my narcissism a little bit, I don't want to feel so alone. It helps rebuild that ego again a little bit, in a healthy way, to be able to reach out and to talk to people again, to be out in the world again. So the question is, if this is a part of my symptoms, and yes, it is kind of, but as a schizophrenic, everything becomes part of my symptoms. The job that I have, my relationships that I have, the decisions that I've made in my life, it all kind of boils down to, was I in my right mind or not, and if I was, did I make the right decision? If I wasn't in my right, did I still make the right decision? And sometimes those are both answered yes. And so it's kind of like, I still have to hold, myself to a real standard. I have to continue to be goal directed. I have to reimagine my volition, and I have to reimagine my sociality. I have to imagine my fun, and have expression again. I have to work to have expression again, and I have to work to use the correct word choices, and while I'm making these videos, and I have to speak at a good cadence. And I feel like, this is a good practice. It's a good video journaling of what I'm going through, as well as what I've been through, and putting it into a context of where I'm going. And where I'm going is advocacy, is mental health advocacy. I believe that there are not enough resources out there for people coming out of mental hospitals, that are either dumped there by their families because they can't take them anymore, because it just happens, like it happens to my sect of people, like our families get tired of us, and they are, we get kicked to the curb. My family hasn't, and I have their support, and I love them very, very, very much. And but on the on the same end, a lot of people don't have that type of support, and they're cast away from their families, they're cast out of their neighborhoods, they're cast out of their homes, they're cast out of everything, and I definitely know what that is like, even though that I've still been able to maintain my family contact, my immediate family. I really haven't spoken to my cousins or any of my other family in quite some time, years. And I really haven't been able to speak to a lot of people in general. I've contacted a few, on hand, probably less than 10 people I've talked to in the past 3 months. Since I left the mental hospital. But on the same end, I am recovering. I am showing improvement. I'm way ahead of where I was 3 months ago, that's for sure. And I'm glad that I have been able to make the recovery that I have. And it's one of those things where you have to hold on to who you are and who you want to be. And I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. I have symptoms pretty much all the time, but to the extent that I can cope with them, I'm on medication. So that's a good thing, I only take one medication, and the side effects are not as extreme as I had been in my mind, and it actually works really good. I do have a little dizzy spells every once in a while. I do have a little bit of scattered thoughts, and I do have some breakthrough hallucinations every once in a while, particularly around bedtime. But yeah, I don't know. I think this content is healthy. It may be a symptom of my disease to make this type of content and to kind of tell on myself, but honestly, I think it's healthy. I think it shows that I'm trying to grow, and that I am pushing the boundaries of what I thought was what I was capable of even just a few months ago. Because I am looking to grow this channel, and I am looking to see what is out there and to bring a voice to the cause for mental health advocacy. And I think that having multiple perspectives, people with the disease, with schizophrenia, with bipolar, with all these different things, we need to work together to shape the type of services that we need. And we need to be able to say, like, hey, there really isn't any type of, and people with adult autism, there really isn't any type of resources out there that can accommodate what we need. And what we need is fully service. We need full service, like assisted living care homes with psychologists and psychiatrists on staff that can meet the needs of the people that are being served. They need to be policed for outside drugs, and they also need to be policed for for maltreatment from the staff. You really have to create foster an environment of care for people, and I have no problem expressing these beliefs today. Like, just because I think it would be it's kind of far out there, I don't mind trying to make progress towards that goal. It might be delusional to think that I can make a change in that, but I've always been somewhat of a dreamer, and I think this is if I can at least be a mouthpiece, I can at least drum up enough support to have for people that are exiting mental hospitals. There's no place for them to go. So they end up addicted to drugs that the hospital gives them for sleep, right? And then they're out on the street. Then they need those drugs because sleep is next to impossible with schizophrenia. I'm here to tell you. I'll probably make a video on it. With drug addiction so high because of using drugs to cope, or to use drugs to escape from the delusions or reality that they're in, or non-reality that they're in. It's hard to fault the person that's in this situation. A lot of drug addicts come from drugs that are given to them through the hospital, through mental health system, or through accidents, or through what have you. And then street drugs are a replicate of that, because they still are in that pain and they still need that fix. So it's the way that we treat people leaving the hospitals, mental health and physical health otherwise, is the way that we can solve our problem. Or it's the way that we can at least work on the problems of homelessness, problems of street level drug addiction. I mean, especially with how strong the mental illness drugs are. They really do a number on you. Anyway, it's definitely because I have this disease that I'm making this content, and it's definitely because I'm using a symptom to combat other symptoms. And I think that's the only way that I can repair my brokenness with my brokenness, if that makes sense. I have schizophrenia. I don't have all the answers or anything like this, and everything that I'm telling you is anecdotal. But if you do have schizophrenia, I do wish you find comfort. And I hope it gets better for you. Thank you.